What's up, guys? It's Casey Zugelman, aka the Fourth Sanderson Sister, coming at you with another Hocus Pocus 2 lore news, a Hocus Pocus 2 video. So, in today's video, we're going to look at a little bit more of the Jen D'Angelo interview that is just coming out in multiple different articles, and I wish they'd just publish one long one so I could get it all done in one fell swoop, but why would they do that? That's too easy. So, we're going to look at another couple of them, and this time it's dealing with our original heroes of the first one, Max, Allison, and Dany. Two different articles. First one that we're going to look at covers Max and Allison. Second one we're going to look at covers Dany. So, Hocus Pocus series writer reveals where she thinks Max and Allison characters are today. So, Hocus Pocus 2 and Hocus Pocus 3 screenwriter Jen D'Angelo tells EW where she thinks Omri Katz's Max and Vanessa Shaw's Allison are today as she works on the script for Disney's third film. Original Hocus Pocus stars Omri Katz and Vanessa Shaw weren't in Hocus Pocus 2, but screenwriter Jen D'Angelo is confident that their characters are living happy lives free from the grasp of the Sanderson sisters. I would hope so. The sequel scribe, who's currently refining story ideas for Disney's Hocus Pocus 3, tells EW that she has a solid idea of where Max and Allison are today, even though her streaming sequel didn't include them in a significant capacity outside a brief flashback scene that saw body doubles stand in for the beloved characters. My unofficial belief, keep that word in mind, is that Max has a successful band, he's the drummer, they're touring. I kind of love that. D'Angelo says, adding that he eventually ended up with Allison after they bonded while doing battle with the resurrected Sanderson sisters witches on Halloween night in 1993. He and Allison live in California. They have an amazing life, D'Angelo continues. She works at a museum. She's a curator. D'Angelo's observation falls in line with Allison's backstory after she first told Max and his younger sister, Dany, that her mother ran the old Sanderson Sisters Museum in Salem at the top of the Kenny Ortega film. Though Katz, Shaw, and Birch did not reprise their roles in Hocus Pocus 2, D'Angelo says that she wrote cameos for several OG characters that didn't make the final cut, and she even heavily expanded on Birch's Dany, though the actress's involvement didn't pan out. Katz, however, exclusively yeah, we looked at that. We looked at this comment, and you can watch that video by clicking on this thing right here, where, Omri said he'd be interested in coming back, but his quote says, "It would be an honor to return, hopefully with some of my fellow castmates, and make a fun addition to the franchise," he said via email. Many fans were disappointed that they and other original characters like Jay and Ice didn't appear in the sequel, and D'Angelo says she's keeping that in mind while writing the draft of the third movie. "We're still in the story phase, we're still working on it, we've been working on some ideas, and it's fun to dive back into that world, and we have so many directions in which to go, and many new characters to explore." We already talked about this as well. We talked about this in last week's video, actually, which you can watch by clicking on this thing right here. So I like the idea that Max is a drummer in a band. I actually like that. That's actually quite fun for him and very fitting because we got to see a little bit of his passion for the drums in the beginning. I like that they took such a small detail about him and turned it into where she thinks he would be today, that he's a successful drummer in a successful band. I just think that's really cool. As for Allison, yeah, it totally makes sense that she would make it into a museum as a curator, maybe even running her own kind of dealio. I don't know. I don't know. I still think we need to see them back in the third one, even if they have to call them in like LA and be like, "Help!" That might be kind of fun. Just them, "Hello, help!" Who is this? Kind of thing. But I don't know. I like that for them. The interesting thing, though, isn't necessarily what they're up to. It's what they were gonna do with Dany. Dany had a big cut storyline into that intrigues the heck out of me. So, Hocus Pocus 2 originally had Thora Birch's Dany battling the Sanderson sisters with Arsenal of Anti-Magic. Hocus Pocus 2 originally planned to take Thora Birch away into the sequel's land of enchantment. Good pun. Screenwriter Jen D'Angelo reveals to EW she wrote several versions of the movie script that included the actress's beloved character, Dany, doing battle with the resurrected Sanderson sisters as a Salem doomsday prepper of sorts. Okay. That's fitting considering Thora Birch was in The Walking Dead during the, zombie apocalypse. So, like, let's get Apocalypse Dany up in here. That's fun. D'Angelo, who also wrote the upcoming comedy Quiz Lady, explains that she boarded the Hocus Pocus sequel as a huge fan of the original with a soft spot for Birch's Dany, one of the 3 OG characters who squared off against Winifred, Sarah, and Mary. I was so invested in trying to get Dany back into the story. We had a bunch of different versions of that, too, where she was really part of it. D'Angelo says, confirming news EW broke in earlier 2022 regarding Birch's involvement in the sequel. There were some versions where she was popping in briefly as a cameo. We really tried so hard to make it work, and it was scheduling and the natural chaos of making a movie that just didn't work out. I love those characters so much. After the release of the sequel last September, the film's new cast, including Whitney Peake, Melissa Escobedo, and Lilia Buckingham, told EW they read a draft of Hocus Pocus 2 that welcomed Dany back as the girl's school teacher. D'Angelo says their memory is accurate and elaborates further on what Dany would have done if Birch had been able to work on the movie. This is what we could use to bring into Hocus Pocus 3. Take the cut storyline and put it in here. She got involved in the hijinks because she spent her entire life keeping her eye out for the Sanderson sisters, said D'Angelo, who's also currently exploring story ideas for 3. So when she gets a whiff of their resurrection, she has a whole arsenal of anti-magic. She's like, I've been preparing for this. We definitely still love that idea, and hopefully there are ways to get it back in. I want Apocalypse Dany. I want Apocalypse Dany. I want Doomsday Dany over here. That'd be so much fun. And I was looking, well, not even looking, I was learning a little bit about anti-magic whenever I was in Salem, and it would be very cool to see some elements of that brought into this with more history and more like lore and stuff with that. Build the universe as you should. Like, I just think that'd be very, very cool. It'd be very, very cool. I think they really need to bring in Doomsday Dany. It'd be so cool. D'Angelo also tells EW she recalls writing cameos that would have allowed Max and Bullies, Jay and Ice, to return for the second film, though those were ultimately cut too. And then everything else about Hocus Pocus 3 is what we've already read. Oh, that would have been so entertaining to see Dany be just a doomsday prepper. Like, let's go. I want to see that movie. Here's where we bring her into the Avengers. This is where we bring her into our Avengers story. Only she tries to use it on the Sanderson sisters, and, like, maybe that screws something up because they were trying to help, and then, oh my god, the hijinks. It's just like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and then Danny's like, no, wait, we were trying to do a thing. Oh, nuts. Everybody's just kind of like, okay, we gotta get ourselves organized here. The chaos would just be insanity. It'd be such good chaos, and I would love that. I loved 2, guys. I do. I still love 2. I think 2 was fantastic for what it was. For a 30 years later sequel. The kids were only okay. They needed some work. Izzy's the goat. Izzy is the goat. I love Izzy. But I think having Dany in there would have been a little bit more satisfying, but that's why we bring her in 3 and we do the Avengers storyline that I keep talking about. I'm telling you, it's a good idea, and it'd be so much fun. She could be using her anti-magic arsenal against Mother Witch, maybe accidentally screw up what the Sanderson sisters are trying to do while they're trying to help, and they're like, hey, we're trying to do something over here. But, like, I don't know. There's a multiverse out there where in another timeline we got that movie, and it was probably very entertaining. I still love 2, and I'm never going to stop loving 2, but the kids were only okay. They didn't match the prowess of our first guys, and my god, Dany with anti-magic, and learning about some of the anti-magic that was used in Salem back in the day. It'd be so cool to see, even though some of it was disgusting. Oh my god, some of it was gross. So, just Google witch cake and then get back with me.
You'll be sorry!
But I don't know. I think these are really great ideas. I like that Max got his wish to go back to Los Angeles. I like that Allison went with him. I like that Dany stayed, because she is a spooky soul. Let's be real. She's a spooky soul. She may not love the Sanderson sisters, but she still would have had a deep love of the Halloween. But I don't know. There's possibilities. I'm saying take that cut Dany storyline and put that in 3, man. I think you could take that cut Dany story and just sprinkle that in there pretty easily, considering that was kind of what I thought up too, but not with the anti-magic thing, but just sprinkle it in there. I'm just saying it'd be a good idea. I don't know. I just want to see what kind of arsenal Dany has. I know I'm just, like, fixating on the Dany part, but the other was just, like, they're living happy lives and they have careers. I'm like, that's great for them. But Dany with an arsenal of anti-magic. What does her tool shed look like? Like, is this one of those things where, like, if you turn the corkboard around, there's just doomsday plans? You lift up the table, and instead of just regular tools, it's all these, like, anti-potions and stuff. Like, come on, I want to see her tool shed. I want to see her tool shed. I want to just be like, what you got in there, Dany? What you got in there? I don't know. That just tickles me. That tickles me that she was a doomsday prepper in one scenario. Ultimately, that didn't happen, and it's kind of a bummer. But I don't know. I want to see more of that. That's all I have for you guys today. I had a request to look over these articles, so I decided to do it. And I'm not mad that I did. It was actually, it's quite fun. Jen's got great ideas. She has great ideas. And that's the problem of being in the position she's in, because it's like she can make so many different stories, but she has to pick one. It's just like, oh. But I like all of them. Kind of thing. And I get that. I wish she could pick all of them. But if you tried to put all of them into one movie, it'd just be a disaster. It'd just be chaos and not in a good way. So, I don't know. Jen's got great ideas. She's a great writer. She did great with 3. I just kind of wish she'd tweaked a couple of things and removed certain characters, like, from the story. Because they weren't really necessary. But, I don't know. She's not perfect, but she is the closest thing we're gonna get to somebody who cares about Hocus Pocus, gosh darn it, in the driver's seat there. I mean, I trust her very, very much to get us something good going, and I'm telling you, bring in Doomsday Dany. Bring in Doomsday Dany. I need to see it. That'd be so fun. It'd be so fun to see. She's already got experience from The Walking Dead. Let's go this way. Like, let's do it. Alright, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't. It's free. It helps me. What helps me helps you guys get more great content like this. Saturday night, I'll be back with more Black Flame Gaming here on the channel. We'll be continuing Sarah's Pokemon Soul Silver randomized Nuzlocke. First episode went good once we worked out the internet bugs. That was a thing. And then, next Monday, I'm not sure what I'm going to have, because now I'm kind of getting in that territory of, is there going to be news breaking, or am I going to have a regular upload that I've had planned for a little while? I don't know what's going to happen. So, kind of flying by the seat of my pants right now. But, with it being November, I am going to have to start looking over, stuff for the whole year that I've put out, so we can put together our crowd work compilation for New Year's, so that'll be fun. If you're a regular on this channel, please remember to drop a like and share your thoughts on these articles down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Casey Zogelman, aka the 4th Sanderson sister, and I'll see you witches and wizards later.
I have put a spell on you.